Hello and welcome to the new Power BI tutorial video. And in this video, I want to show you a trick where you can basically have a conditional sum based on the requirement. For example, we have a sometimes very simple requirement like we want to show the sales only for the customer whose name is Aaron. Now you can think about it. It can be Aaron or any customer. It can be any product name or anything. Whole idea is that you have a text-based condition where you want to use contains strings. Like in this case, I have used the contains string function with the measure, and that's where it becomes a little bit tricky in terms of how to use contains strings, because usually it gets used in a backend in a table view where you have the orders table. But many times when you have the published data set, you don't have the privilege sometimes to even create the row column. Also, it is not advisable many times to even create rows because it adds a lot of weight into the data model. So that's best practice as well. So what you have to do? Well, in that case, what I'm going to show you is how you can utilize that text function. Because, for example, if I show you very quickly, if I try to create a new measure and we go very simple, how we usually do it is using the if condition. If customer name, well, you will see that customer name is not coming because we will try to write that customer name is equals to, let's say, Aaron, then give me the sales or sum of sales, whatever we want, right? But that's usually will not going to work, and there is a way by which you can do that. Okay, and that is something what I will going to tell you in this video. So I hope you are clear about the use case in this case. So before that, just a quick information. If you have landed very first time on my channel, then you should know that I keep all of my videos over here in this Google Sheet. It has 350 plus videos right now. The video title is present over here and the video link is over here. That means you can very easily go and search any of my dashboard tricks, tips, tricks, general tutorial over here. A lot of things that I've done over a period of like 3-4 years. And then the data set which I'm using, I maintain this sheet where you can go in, and this is the Superstore data set plus many other data sets which I have. Along with that, if you want the live dashboard training or the recorded courses for your own self-paced learning, then you can utilize from here. So with that, let me go back and come to the scenario. And in this case, what we will simply going to do is I will click on orders table, and that's where I need to create a new measure. And this measure is, I will call it Aaron sale, because that's something we want. And I am going to write, interestingly, the SUMX function, right? So SUMX basically expect to give me a table and an expression. So what is my table? For table, I will going to write an expression using the filter. In the filter, I need to provide an orders table and expression. That means what I am doing is using the filter, I will only give it the table which will return the rows for Aaron. So in this case, I am using customer name. So that is an alternative of, you can say, the if condition in this case. So customer name is equals to, what do you call, Aaron, or anything for that matter that you want to specify in an if condition, but in this case the filter condition, right? And then just say sales, right? Whatever is the expression is, the expression it is expecting, right? Comma the expression which is sum of sales, right? And close this. Okay. Rename measure, Aaron sales is already present. Okay, Aaron sales 1 in this case. All right, so I have this. Let me bring it over here, right? And what you would see is right now it is not giving us the expected output. Can you guess why? Well, because in our customer name, we don't have any customer name, just only Aaron, right? I just wanted to give you this one just so that if an interview is coming, you can, like, especially for the beginner, it can come. So what we will say is contains string, right? Contains a string, order within text, which is this one, comma, and text is Aaron, right? Within that text, find text and close this, right? And then we will write sum of sales in that context. All right, and now what we have is our sales information, right? So whatever that 531419130506 is something what the sales is. And let's do a quick double check. I think this is the sum of sales. We can bring it over here, right? And over here what we see is that we have the sales which is similar to this, slightly different than what we are expecting. However, this one is pretty much, because that's the sale what we need to have. That means still there is something which is missing. Always important that you do an audit of this thing. Okay, so what is happening is over here, this particular is basically what it is doing. It is having multiple rows. What I mean by that is, if I remove everything for a minute, I remove this, I remove Aaron sales, over here this particular one as well. This has a lot of rows. Why? Because not just one row in which sales is present, but you have what do you call the order ID. Let me bring that up. Where is that? Order, or maybe the order date can basically give us that. Order ID, order ID is also fine. So one Aaron, if you will see, it is basically to 3 orders. It has so many multiple orders. It has so many multiple orders. So what it is doing is, it is basically creating a duplicate effect, and that's why we are getting an inflated measure. So just wanted to show you where we can run an issue. However, we have reached to that stage where the we are getting the output or using the contains string as we would use in a normal if condition. So just the last piece, what I have to do in this case is, because we are pre-aggregating, that is why the output is getting duplicated and we are getting the incorrect output. Now what I will do is, I simply say sales, and now if you will observe that our output is correct and only for these 3 rows. I will make it slightly more complex. What if you want the name of the other people as well, or the other folks as well? In that case, I will say if this is the case, right? And now what I will say is, in place of sales, I will simply say 1. That means we are able to find it, and it will do a multiple count. So if it is greater than 0, that means it has identified the Aaron, then give us sales, right? Then basically provide us the sales information, otherwise don't provide us the sales information. So again, I have to write the order. So let me just see if it gives me the correct output. Otherwise, say 0, because we want to display other customers as well. So if you see, yes, now we are outside of this. It is giving us the expected output for Aaron as well as the other one. So I've given you some variations based on the problem that I observed, and try to find out a solution. The couple of ways, and first thing first is very important, is rather than creating a column which adds a weight to your data model, you simply use it measure, which is much more efficient and only limited to the processing to the rows that we wanted. So I hope you have found it useful, and I'll meet you in the new video with a new topic.